When Malawians shout Apepese, they don't mean a small sorry, they mean a national one. Because right now, anger in the streets is louder than traffic at Area 18 roundabout. From Blantyre to Mazuzu, people are talking about one thing: the State House scandal. What really happened behind those historic gates? Did former President Lazarus Chakwera leave Kamuzu Palace looking like a post-storm construction site? Or is this another political magic trick, where truth gets photoshopped before breakfast? The storm began after the new administration stepped into State House and, allegedly, into chaos. Reports surfaced of broken windows, leaking roofs, and cracked walls, the kind of damage that makes taxpayers wonder whether the palace hosted a farewell party or a demolition derby. Social media caught fire. Photos of torn curtains and overgrown lawns flooded timelines faster than a Lilongwe flash flood. The cry became collective: "Apepese, bwana! Explain this mess." But the real story isn't just about furniture or faded paint. It's about betrayal, perception, and a political legacy under fire. Today, Global Pulse News breaks it down into 10 sharp facts that separate outrage from evidence. And trust me, each one hits harder than campaign slogans in election season. Malawians are not just upset, they're exhausted. The scandal ignited pent-up frustration from years of promises that turned into potholes. When citizens saw alleged photos of State House decay, it felt symbolic, a nation's trust peeling off the walls. Social media sections became town halls. Vendors debated policy over Nsima. Even boater riders quoted constitutional rights. The anger isn't random. It's the echo of economic struggle meeting political theater. People expected dignity and leadership, not broken glass and silence. If Fact 1 was pure emotion, Fact 2 brings receipts, and they're stained with controversy. The battle of images turned the media landscape into a war zone. Times Group released photos claiming to show the damaged palace. Within hours, the Malawi Congress Party fired back, calling them malicious fabrications. MCP spokespersons accused journalists of propaganda, insisting Kamuzu Palace was intact and dignified. Yet citizens asked a simple question: if the pictures are fake, where's the proof of the real condition? This tug of war revealed how truth itself has become a political weapon. In Malawi today, a picture isn't worth 1,000 words, it's worth 1,000 arguments. But behind every image lies a timeline, and the next chapter takes us to the day the power baton changed hands. September 16, 2025, a date etched in tension. Peter Mutharika, returning to the helm with 56% of the vote, promised renewal. Chakwera conceded quietly at 33%, a move that some called graceful, others cowardly. Yet what followed stole the headlines. Accusations that State House staff loyal to the outgoing regime had left chaos in their wake. The new team allegedly walked into malfunctioning systems, missing files and physical disrepair. Whether sabotage or coincidence, the optics were disastrous. For Malawians watching from afar, it wasn't just a handover, it looked like a handoff of dysfunction. Still, to grasp why tempers flared so fast, you must rewind to Chakwera's turbulent rule itself.
Chakwera's presidency carried the weight of expectation. Remember when he appointed Martha Chizuma to the Anti-Corruption Bureau? People danced in the streets, thinking at last the fight against graft had real teeth. But soon, the hunter became the hunted. Chizuma's nighttime arrest in 2022, dragged out in pajamas, shocked the nation. Many saw it as political betrayal, the moment reform turned into retreat. That episode cracked Chakwera's image as a moral crusader. So when new allegations surfaced about State House neglect, the public didn't just see broken ceilings, they saw a pattern. Promises collapsing like plaster. And speaking of patterns, the next fact connects present outrage to Malawi's long memory of scandal. Every Malawian over a certain age flinches at one word: Cashgate. The 2013 looting saga still haunts national trust, so when whispers of State House mismanagement appeared, many thought, here we go again. Cashgate taught citizens that corruption doesn't retire, it relocates. People linked the current uproar to that old wound, seeing history repeat itself with new faces. For them, the debate isn't about curtains or cracked paint. It's about a fear that each administration inherits the same moral debt. When leadership changes, but accountability doesn't, the past keeps leaking into the present like a tap that won't close. But if Cashgate was the ghost, the next fact is pure tragedy, one that turns suspicion into sorrow. If Malawians were already angry, the death of Vice President Saulos Chilima turned that anger into heartbreak. June 10th, 2024, the nation froze. The plane crash in Chikangoa Forest claimed Chilima's life along with former First Lady Patricia Shano Maluzi and others. To many, this wasn't just an accident. It was the day faith in leadership fell from the sky. The official inquiry blamed weather and human error. But to ordinary Malawians, that answer felt too tidy, like sweeping grief under a political carpet. Online voices whispered, "Kodiizi dinachidika bwani kwendi." What really happened here? Suspicion brewed, linking tragedy to politics, power, and silence. That event painted a backdrop for today's outrage, proving that when the truth feels censored, even facts lose their wings. And as the sorrow faded into questions, another storm began, this time inside the gates of State House itself. What started as quiet debate turned into a full-blown shouting match between rival camps. MCP loyalists defended Chakwera fiercely, saying State House reports were DPP propaganda. DPP supporters clapped back. Evidence is everywhere. Meanwhile, neutral citizens sighed, watching leaders argue over photos while maize prices doubled. Media houses became battlegrounds. Some claimed exclusive footage, others called for calm. But the irony? The more both sides argued, the worse the State House looked. Not the building, but the symbol. Because in Malawi, the palace isn't just a residence. It's the face of national integrity. And when that face appears bruised, every citizen feels embarrassed. But the real embarrassment comes from what Malawians are saying in their own words, raw, unfiltered, and louder than any press conference. You don't need a pollster to measure the national mood. Just listen to the minibus conductors, market women, or social media warriors. Facebook, TikTok, and radio call-ins are ablaze with fury. Apepese, Apepese, the people chant, not as political supporters, but as citizens tired of being fooled. They're demanding an apology not to humiliate Chakwera, but to restore honesty, to admit mistakes, rebuild trust, and set an example for future leaders. That's why this outrage feels different. It's not orchestrated by parties, it's powered by people. Across districts, memes mock luxury politics, hashtags expose hypocrisy, and in between laughter, there's real pain. Because beneath every joke lies hunger, joblessness, and frustration. A generation tired of headlines that end the same way, investigation pending.
When Peter Mutharika took oath again, he didn't sugarcoat it. There is no money, he said, and no one knows where the borrowed money went. For a man known for calm delivery, this sounded like thunder. He promised tough decisions, no milk and honey, only honesty and hard work. For Malawians, that speech was both comforting and terrifying. Comforting because at least someone said it aloud. Terrifying because it confirmed the house was emptier than expected. Now, Mutharika faces a delicate test. Will he fix the mess or repeat history? He's inherited more than cracked walls. He's inherited cracked trust. The whole nation watches to see whether this president will mop the floor or just rearrange the furniture. Because behind all these political storms lies the one truth every Malawian feels deep down, and that brings us to the final fact. At its heart, this scandal isn't just about a damaged state house. It's about a damaged social contract. Every torn curtain, every leak, every accusation mirrors a bigger truth, that Malawi's democracy is beautiful, but fragile. When leaders forget humility, institutions crumble quietly like ceilings left to rot. The people shouting Apepese aren't just angry, they're awake. They want accountability, not pity. Progress, not promises. Whether Chakwera apologizes or not, the message has already landed. Power belongs to the people,
and silence is no longer an option. As one old man in Machesi said, "If the palace cracks, the whole nation shakes." That's the moral of this moment. Leadership isn't about protecting palaces, it's about protecting trust. And that's where we end tonight's breakdown, but before you click away, listen closely. Malawi stands at a crossroads again. One path leads to accountability, where leaders face questions with courage, admit wrongs, and rebuild what's broken. The other path? The same old circle of denial, spin, and forgotten scandals. Which road we take depends on one thing: our voice. So, Malawians, let's keep the conversation alive. Comment below. Do you believe the State House scandal is real or political drama? Should Chakwera apologize? Should an independent audit be done? Your opinion matters more than the headlines. And remember, truth doesn't fear microphones, only lies do. If you value fearless journalism, hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and share this story. Because here at Global Pulse News, we don't whisper around power, we question it, we challenge it, and we make sure your voice gets heard. Until next time, stay informed, stay bold, and never forget: Malawi's story isn't written in palaces, it's written in the hearts of its people.